Very good morning to one and all. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizer, Dr.M.G.R. Education Research Institute and University for giving you an opportunity to deliver a lecture on waste management technology. So first of all, I'd like to thank the Vice Chancellor of University, Professor Dr. Geeta Lakshmi, and the registrar and the organizer of the this program, Atal FTP program, the HOD Professor Ganeshan and Professor Echiraj, and the organizer Vijay Kumar and Professor Jaisir for this wonderful program. I'm also happy to see that we have a wonderful chief guest, Mr. K.S. Kandaswamy, the collector of Tiruvannamalai district, and happen to be a great alumni who is constantly interacting with you and supporting you for all your program in your campus and the university. So not taking much time, let me go into give a gist of what are the technologies available in the waste management. Okay. So myself worked in the area of plastics and rubber recycling. So that's how we got into a little bit how this material mixed with the normal solid waste. So we got interested in the solid waste. Okay, I'll be more comfortable like in the area of plastics rather than the other areas of solid, but still I can give an overview of what's happening throughout India. So my topic is on the waste management technology overview, which is the title of your FDP. Right? So before going into any detail of waste management, let us define what is a waste. Waste, as you know, it's a unwanted or useless material. We term it as a trash or a rubbish or a garbage or a junk or litter, which we throw away or dispose it away. So in biology, we consider our waste as unwanted substance or a toxin which are expelled out of from living organisms, maybe even metabolic waste like urea and sweat. And you know pretty well in any solid waste management, we talk about the basal convention definition of waste, a substance or a subjects which are disposed of or intended to be disposed of or required to be disposed of by the provision of the law. So translocation of waste has to be avoided. That is the treaty behind the basal convention. And disposal mean what? Any operation which may lead to resource or recovery or recycling, reclamation, or direct reuse or alternative uses. Okay, these are all some of the terms which are commonly come across in any solid waste management. Okay, so let us go quickly what are the different types of waste, how we classify. So we have what we call the solid waste management. Out of this, the main problem is the municipal solid waste management, which we are facing in our country. Where how to dispose and clear and make the country clean. So this is a challenging issue now we are facing. Okay, and so the next one is liquid waste, mainly the sewage waste from the domestic or from the industry. We have the effluent waste. How we are going to treat by using a proper effluent treatment plant or a sewage treatment plant. And the gaseous waste or the one which is the gases or any sort of smoke which is liberated out of the industry or a mining industry or a chemical industry. So these three waste are the main classification. From this, we have different types also we can classify. Now, what is this waste? Now, this waste is a material like which is unwanted and which is not in use, and we discard it. So, as I said, in our country, due to the high population, waste generation is unavoidable, and it should be taken properly, and it should be collected properly, and should be treated properly and segregated, and then it should be disposed in whatever the way we want. So the main cause of the pollution, we talk about pollution. So in solid waste, of course, we get the land pollution. The liquid waste, we get the water pollution, and the gaseous waste, we get the air pollution. These three pollution are the main causes for the environment to be polluted, and subsequently we end up with the with the damage to the health or damage to the environment, whatever may be. Okay, so these are the three main things which is going to be discussed in detail. And further, we can classify the waste as per the property biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Biodegradable waste, which will undergo decomposition with the help of a bacterial or composting to form into a manure or a gas or whatever may be, like food waste or agricultural waste. Okay. Whereas when you look into the non-biodegradable waste, which is will not degrade at all, like the best example is polymer or plastics, like polyethylene or whatever, which we throw, which will not be in the atmosphere or in the land, which will not degrade at all. So these are the two important classification based on the properties of the material, biodegradable and non-biodegradable basis. Then we have another classification, what we call a hazardous waste and non-hazardous waste. Substances which are unsafe to use commercially, industrially, and agriculturally or economically, and have any of the following effect on the environment, like poisonous nature, toxic in nature, corrosive, fire, flammability. So all these things, parameters we term as hazardous wastes, which should be properly disposed properly. And we have another classification with non-hazardous waste, substance safe to use commercially, industrially, agriculturally, or economically, and do not have any of these above properties mentioned above. Okay. And the further we can classify based on the origin of the and the type of, we can classify the waste we call the municipal solid MSW. Now this is a municipal solid waste is the biggest challenge in the country. Okay, so solid waste that include from the domestic household, garbages, rubbish, construction and demolition, C&D, debris, sanitation residues, packaging materials, etc., which are completely managed by the local body or the local panchayat or the municipality or the town. Okay. This is the biggest challenge where the waste all get mixed up, and segregation is a biggest problem to go for a reuse or a recycle or disposal. Okay, so landfill. The next challenging waste is called biomedical waste. As said, now due to COVID period, this waste is generating, increasing in a higher percentage, up to 35%, from 25 to 35%, especially the use of used mask, gloves, or whatever the material used in the medical treatment for operation or diagnosis, etc. So this is another important criteria which has to be addressed very seriously now. Then we have industrial waste, both liquid and solid, and even air also. Okay, generated due to the manufacturing process by various industries like the chemical industry, petroleum industry, paint industry, coal industry, metal industry. Then you have gas, mining, sanitary, and paper, etc. So this is another industrial waste which is taken care by the industrial sector, so not that much get linked into the commercial domestic environment, except a few liquid or effluent wastes. Okay. Then we have agricultural waste generated from farming activity, and these are mostly biodegradable, organic in nature, which can be converted into manure or a sort of a gas. So this is not a big issue. Then
Sir, your audio is not, we could not hear your audio, sir.
no, please tell me right from the beginning.
Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes the network goes on. Sorry. Okay. So electronic waste is now it has become a biggest challenge now, and now it is becoming a greatest revenue to the industry, and a lot of industries are coming up with the e-waste management and recycling. A lot of materials can be removed, like you can separate the plastic, you can separate the other elements like lead, cadmium, or some other brominated flame retardants material from that. So this is another area is picking up. Then we have what we call the food waste is another area which is also picking up. So these are different types of waste based on the origin and how it can be managed. Okay. Now, looking into the waste generation engine scenario, the per capita waste generation increases by 1.3 to 1.5% per annum. With urban population increasing between 3 to 35% annum yearly. I think there is some disturbance. Yearly increase in waste generation is around 5 to 10%. Okay, so in India produces more than 42 million tons of municipal solid waste annually, and this is going to be increased and further also. Per capita generation of waste varies from 200 to 600 grams per capita per day, and most statistics are discussed about this further. Now, what are the sources? Mainly, as I said, it is a contamination, water, food, and the human is exposed to that. Okay, and it is will expose to the diseases like malaria, bacterial disease, mosquito, water disease vector, and the inhalation of all the polluted air. So these are all the things where our human is exposed to contaminated water, or food, or diseases, or inhalation of the fumic toxic gases. Okay, and naturally it is going to affect the environment, and health is one which is going to affect, and our socioeconomic conditions, and the coastal area, mainly marine area, and the coastal area, river beds also is going to affect if it is polluted by an effluent which is not treated. And of course it is going to affect the climate. If we're going to emit all the SOx and NOx into the atmosphere, then it is going to affect our climatic conditions also. So these are the overall broad area where it will impact the environment if we are not able to manage the waste. So waste management is to ensure proper collection, segregation of waste at source, and to ensure that a waste goes through different streams of recycling and resource recovery. If it's not done, then the final residue is then deposited scientifically in a sanitary landfill. Okay, so the waste collection starts from two types: household and the commercial waste. Household segregation, like we have a milk bag, cans, disposable cups, plates, etc. Then we have the debris like diapers, sanitary napkins, etc. Inert debris. Then we have the organic kitchen or food waste or kitchen waste. Okay, then the commercial also we have some paints, batteries, like clearing agent, etc. Now the collection of this all the different types of material based on the nature, recyclable or not recyclable, and we have the paper and the metal or aluminum. So we have a different classification now, so that we can dispose of the right particular material into the right bin, so that the segregation can be avoided. So this is the first important thing. Now it's picking up slowly, and it should be followed. I can tell about some of my experience, I guess, in the later stages also. So if you look at India, the solid waste statistics, the annual waste is around 62 million tons, and out of this, plastic waste constitute around 5.6 million tons. And the biomedical waste, 0.17 million tons. Now it may increase to another 10% because of the COVID-19 situation, where we'll be disposing gloves, masks, and other medical accessories, which is used for the theater. Okay. Then hazardous waste constitute around 8 million tons, and the e-waste around 1.5 to 2 million tons. So this is a present scenario. Okay, this is the statistics which I referred from the uh, mm, uh, Swachh Bharat Waste to Wealth by Indian government. The per capita waste generation in India cities ranges from 200 to 600 grams on average per day. So 43 million ton per annum is collected. Out of this, only 12 million is treated and 13 million is dumped in landfill. Now, this is a serious problem which has to be addressed. So only around 75 to 80% of the municipal waste gets collected, and the remaining 20 to 30% of waste is processed and treated. So the waste generation will increase from 62 million tons to about 165 million tons in 2020. So it may go to threefold, and it is projected by the year 2031. The MSW municipal solid waste generation shall increase to 165 and to 436 million tons by 2050. So this is the projection of the waste generation for our population, Indian population. If cities continue to dump the waste at present rate without any treatment or proper disposal, it will need around 1,300 hectares of land per year, with a projected generation of 165 million tons of waste by 2031. So the requirement of setting up a landfill for 20 years of a 10-meter height will be around 66,000 hectares of land. So this is the land we are going to lose, or we are going to allocate for the waste dumping and processing purpose. So untapped waste can generate around 439 megawatts of power from 30 to 33,000 ton per annum of compostable waste, including refuse-derived fuel, 1.3 million cubic meter of biogas per day, or 72 megawatts of electricity from biogas, and 54 million metric ton of compost annually as a fertilizer. So if you look into the solid waste management rules has been changed. For our environmental act is like Water Act, you have the Air Act, then you have the solid waste management. Also, we have the act which has been modified after 16 years, and the new rule has been introduced in 2016. These rules are the sixth category of the waste management rule brought by the Ministry of Environmental, Forest and Climatic Change. The ministry has noted plastic waste, e-waste, biomedical waste, and hazardous and construction demolition waste also included in this norms, and should be taken utmost care to do the disposal in a proper way. Rules applicable beyond municipal areas will extend to urban area. Waste processing facilities will have to set up by all the local body having 1 million or more population within 2 years. Now the rule has become stringent and it is extended to rural areas. Based on the populations having 1 million or more, they have to set up the waste processing facilities in the area. And for census town below 1 million towns or local bodies less than 1 million, like 0.5 million or more populations. Okay, then they have to go for a waste processing facilities with a suitable sanitary landfill has to be, or a composting unit has to be developed. Okay, now it has become more stringent. Even the village, right from the village to the rural area to urban area, this waste processing setup has to be implemented and should be taken care of the local body with the support of the local community population or the NGO, or with a government body or even a private body. Now are coming to picture to take care of the waste management. Now all these are monitored by Central Monitoring Committee for Solid Waste Management, constituted by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate. To monitor the overall committee comprises of Ministry of Urban Development, Rural Development, Chemicals and Fertilizers, Ministry of Agriculture, Central Pollution Control Board, and 3 state control pollution board, etc. Then they have the Urban Development Department of the 3 state government, Rural Department, so Confederation on Indian Industry and experts. So the Ministry of Environment and Forest, or the Pollution Control Board, along with all other committee, they formed a committee to monitor the solid waste management or any environmental related issue in the village level or the city level or overall. So this has become very stringent now, and you can see the changes taking place due to Swachh Bharat, the cleaning activities and the construction of toilet and all other activities related to the environment to make India clean. Taking place in all the places of our country. Some of the salient features of the solid waste management rules in 2016, hotels and restaurants should segregate biodegradable waste and set up a system of collection to ensure that first food waste is placed for composting and biomethylation. Yes. Now, every establishments like a hotel or a restaurant should have their own composting unit or a biomethylation unit where they have to do the separation of the food waste, and accordingly they can convert into a composite or to use for a manure or to convert into a biogas, which can use it for their own purpose. If they're having their own garden, the rooftop, they can use their own compost as a manure, or they can, if they have a biomethylation plant, they can convert biogas, they can use it for their own cooking purpose. So now this has become a mandatory, and this should be also applicable in all the hotels and restaurants. And we do in our MIT campus. We have a biogas plant, and we collect all the food waste in a lump, and we segregate the food waste certain things, and we add all the wet waste into the in a crusher, and it's crushed, and then it is taken into the biogas plant where it generates biogas with the process of the material. So this is, and the gas what we generate is we use it for our cooking purpose separately. So we can what are the waste at home or at any establishment where producing food can be used perfectly without any damage to the environment. So now this has to become a mandatory, and everyone should follow. Similarly, all the apartments, huge apartments having houses more than 50 or 100, the resident welfare association and gated communities having an area of 5,000 or less square meter should segregate the waste and hand over the recyclable material to either authorized waste picker or authorized recycler, or to do the urban local body. Now it has become a mandatory. All the apartments having a house of more than 100 units or above, they should have their own STP plant. That is one thing, so that they can recycle their own sewage water, and they can use it for their own gardening purpose. Okay, or they can use as a grey water for washing or other purpose. So then this has to be becoming very stringent and mandatory. Similarly, the household waste, especially the wet waste or the food waste or kitchen waste, they should convert into a composite. And they can use it as a roof garden. And now it is picking up. Now it is picking up everywhere. They can have a roof garden or a terrace garden where you can grow your own vegetables or own greenery, and that can be used for your own for the food purpose. This is become a mandatory, and if everyone should able to participate in this, we can avoid the waste generation at all, except the waste like your biodegradable waste like plastics, or that can be given to the authorized recycle with proper segregation at the source. This is very, very important. Segregation should be done at the source, then the recycling job is very easy. Suppose if you're going to, if an apartment having 120, 150 apartment, and they're using a milk cover, all the milk covers should be washed and should be kept in a separate bin. So there are people, the like plastic recycler, who will come and they will every month they will take the used polythene bags. So it is easy for them to recycle. So it doesn't go into the unnecessarily into solid waste and get mixed up, and the problem is separation occurs. So this is one of the challenge every individual should follow. Then the biodegradable waste already we discussed should be processed, treated, and disposed through composting or methanation within the premises as far as possible. This is what they're insisting to everybody. So all the biodegradable waste should be processed, treated, and disposed within your premises. Now, there are street vendors should keep suitable containers for storage of waste generated and deposit such waste at a waste storage depot or a container or a vehicle as notified by local authority. Now, this is with a local body, the government or the private NGO, whoever maybe, they can organize a suitable to collect the waste on a prescribed time and day, so that they can give a whistle or a signal or a time, so that every people will come and give and dispose the waste in a proper bin, which further it will take it into a central processing line. Developers of the special economic zone, industrial estate, industrial park, enmark early 55% total area of a plot, or many five plots are shared for recovery and recycling facility. Now, in all the SIPCOT or a small industrial estate or a special economic processing zone or MEPS or wherever industrial estates you have, they should allocate a total 5% of the total area or 5 plots for the waste recovery and recycling facility, and it has become a mandatory both for solid waste management and also for the effluent waste management. Okay. Manufacturers of disposable products such as tin, glass, plastic packaging, etc., shall provide necessary financial assistance to local authorities for the establishment. Okay. So that now the problem is come to the all the manufacturer also, like whoever manufacture the tin or a glass or a bottle or anything. So they will work with the local body or the NGOs or the local population, so that they will make some arrangements to collect their own products after usage, so that it doesn't go mixed with any solid waste management, and it goes for the proper recycling. So when this is done properly, the problem of the waste scattered, like use of plastic bags or a plastic tin can be avoided, and we can keep the premises very clean and neat. Companies that sell products of non-biodegradable packaging metal should put in place a system to collect back the package waste generated due to their production. Now, all this is applicable like a non-biodegradable mainly with the plastics now, which is the biggest problem. Now, when you use these non-biodegradable products, mainly plastics which is not able to degrade it. Okay, so they are supposed to be used as much as possible, and then if not, it should be returned back to the environment. Best example.
Excuse me, sorry. Sorry, your audio is cracking.
சிக்னல் வீக்கா இருக்கு சார், வந்துருவாரு.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. The participant, the presenter signal is a little bit weak. Will join. Yeah, will join. Sir, Vijaykumar sir, அவர்கிட்ட கால் பண்ணுங்களா சார்?
Material, it starts degrading is degradable, but only the cost of the material for manufacturing is very, very high. So that's why it is not commonly used in the commercial market, and they're not able to sell products. So the per kg is around 500 rupees. Polylactic acid has come down around 300 to 250. Maybe at one time it may come down. Then people will start using PLA based pack, which is biodegradable. Okay, so this is about the non-biodegradable. All manufacturers, brand owners, or marketing companies should educate the masses of wrapping and disposal of the product. Now, this is a very all the people who manufacture, and they give the symbol for the recycling, or they give the name want to dispose it in a proper manner. Now, all these precautions are given. Only thing is, we have to follow. Only thing is, as an individual, we have to follow. Construction and demolition waste should be stored and disposed of, or it should be properly recycled. So this new rules, solid waste management 2016, almost cover all the important areas like plastic waste management, biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste, and construction demolition waste, and the also the industrial sector. Okay. Waste generation in India, if you look, the top 5 cities in the India which generates highest municipal solid waste is Delhi, followed by Bombay, followed by Chennai, and other countries. Around 1.6 million tons per year in Chennai. Okay, and Delhi in territory considered 3.3 million tons per year. And urban sewage in India is also very important. We only talk about the solid waste management, but the sewage problem is another biggest issue in most of the places. 87% of the country urban population has access to household or community sanitation. Collection, treatment, and disposal of wastewater is a big problem. So the local body or the government is also having the various means to collect the wastewater, and the wastewater has been treated, and it can be used as a grey water or whatever. Okay, only 1/3 of households are covered by network sewage network. 47% of households relying on the on-site sanitation system, open system. The low coverage is also compounded by grossly insufficient treatment capacity of one body. So this is a serious issue where our government is insisting more on the sewage treatment plant, especially the riverbeds where if you have a textile plants or industrial plant, paper mills, they let out sometimes some refluent into that, and that causes pollutant to the water body, which in affect your plant species or the animal species in the body, and the water get polluted. So this is one of the major things which should be seriously addressed, and everybody should have an STP plant or effluent treatment plant. So industrial treatment plants to process the wastewater and convert into a usable form. Okay, so this is picking up in all the industries, a mandatory pharmaceutical industry or a paint industry or any mining industry. They should have their own wastewater treatment plant, and should be treated, and the treated water should be let off centrally. So I've seen one of the plant at Orchid Pharmaceutical. They do have one of the best STP plant, and there are a lot of technology has come right from conventional technology to the biological treatment method has come to treat the wastewater, and which can be converted in a useful form. So the integrated waste management system, the household or industry where you collect the waste collection. Collection is the biggest challenge. Now it needs a lot of manpower, and in India, being a highly populated country, the collection is we need a proper manpower to collect the right segregated waste. That's very important. Okay, so the waste is collected and transferred to a central storage system, and where they do sometimes again they do segregation. If it is segregated, it's their job to transfer in the respective biodegradable or non-biodegradable waste. They can segregate, or then the transfer unit they do the segregation, and a part will go for the material recovery or recycling or composting. So this is the main thing what we do in our country, where we get a wealth from that waste to wealth. that is the logo. Normally people will say we can recover as much as possible and do recycling as much as possible and then do composting as possible. So these are all the wealthy material what we get from the discarded waste. And if not, it's not possible, then it goes to the waste to energy, where you produce thermal energy like gas or power, and some residues may be available due to the incineration or pyrolysis or gasification process, where you get some ash landfill. Okay, and that landfill also can be used properly by mixing with concrete, where you can also go for the brick preparation or cement mixing. Okay, some ash can be done, and if at all not able to do anything, then we can go for a landfilling. Sanitary landfilling is also a biggest challenge and should be monitored. Open landfilling is not permitted. You need a landfill which will be covered with a proper lining at the ground level and also top level, so the waste will not get into the contaminated soil or the water. Okay, so this is a typical integrated waste management system. This is where all we have different types of collection system, different collection of segregation system, different types of processing system. So it all depends upon the country or the place where the population, how much waste we are generating. Accordingly, we can follow the process. Accordingly, we can select the process and try to go for a 3R: recover, recycle, reuse, and compose. So this is what we do in our country. So let us go one by one. So the waste hierarchy refers to 3R: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So the most favored is prevention of waste at the source itself, at the processing industry itself, and minimize the waste. Okay, as much as possible. Necessarily don't need to generate the waste. So prevention of waste at the source, minimize the waste during processing or the usage condition. Okay, fine. Then if you get a waste, discard it. Then you try to reuse it. Like if you get a plastic bag, we wash it and reuse again and again. If not, then we will dispose it. Okay, then that goes into solid waste management. So instead of that, you are disposing in the right bin, so that it goes for the plastic recycling. Then recycling. Then after that, we if not recycling, then it goes for the energy recovery. When you have a mixed waste where it's very difficult to segregate, like your paper, leather, fiber, everything, then it goes for burning, the thermal processing, and finally a landfill disposal. So these are the least power, the top one is now there is we talk about recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle. Now people are talking about the upcycle. What do you mean by upcycle? Now, what are the products which we are discarded? Using this product, we design a top, sort of a toy or a product which can be usable condition. By collecting all the waste, we do a design to make a product which may be a usable purpose. We call it an upcycle. This is also company. Some of the small scale entrepreneurs are they say they're converting all the waste products into a usable form. Usable form, maybe a table or a toy or some sort of a keychain board or like that. So depending on its properties, it's called upcycle. So this is also picking. Now, what are the other options, like useful options for recycling or waste management technology, resource recovery, composting? There are different types of composting. Vermicomposting, very commonly used. Okay, and biomethanation or anaerobic digestion. And we have the energy recovery, incineration, pyrolysis, gasification. Okay. Now, the municipal solid waste management is the biggest challenge. Like quickly go into the classification, biodegradable, where we have the biochemical conversion, mostly organic waste, where we have a composting and we convert into biofertilizers, or we can go for biomethanation, which will go for anaerobic digestion. We can convert into a biogas. We convert into energy as a fuel for cooking or whatever. Okay, the compostable, which is non-recyclable or non-biodegradable, mostly undergo thermal process like gasification, incineration, and pyrolysis to generate power or recover material from that from the plant. Then we have the C&D waste, construction and debris waste, for where we convert into alternative building material. Then we have some inert material which can be used for a landfilling, which is not going to affect the environment. So this is a total classification of MSW waste management. So the general process, what's happening in our country, the waste is collected in the right bin and it is collected by a truck, and from there it is connected, sent to a local storage system, and from that is carried over to a transfer section, segregated, and then it's taken for the processing unit. And after processing, it goes to, if some of the waste which goes to landfill. If not, there are other methods. It will go like a composting or a biomethylation, or it goes for pyrolysis or gasification, whatever. So these are the typical waste generators in the residential area and the commercial area, the institutional area like schools, colleges, hostels, offices, then construction, demolition waste, and municipal services. So these are all the waste generation. What are the solid waste has been mentioned, like food waste, paper, cardboard, plastics, leather, textile, etc. Then commercial paper, cardboard, plastic, etc. So just in the construction, we have wood, steel, concrete, debris, glass, sand, tiles, bitumen, etc. Okay, and this is a picture near Coimbatore. It's called a Vellore. It's a huge composting yard. It's like the waste looks like a mountain. Like it looks like a mountain, and this waste, I felt like somehow during rainy season we can feel that the foul smell will be there, or sometimes it may catch fire, some smoke may come. So all these things can happen in a huge composting yard. Now, this waste yard, composting yard, is going to transfer into a biomining process, because the integrated Coimbatore bus stand is going to come nearby. So this waste they are converting into a biomining process where they will clear all this dumping yard in slowly. So this dump yard will create a lot of small flies, insects, fungus, bacteria will fly, and the nearby area, of course, will have a environmental impact on health or breathing or the smell. So this is what happening. So this now slowly will go off when they go for a process called biomining is going to be done slowly, and the site will become very clear in future. That's what we are going to predict, and we hope we are waiting for that. Okay, so what is biomining? You know pretty well, Indore is a city in our country which has been the best clean city for the last third or fourth consecutive, and even now. Now, Indore has cleaned up a 100-acre dump site in a place called Devagurudadiya, which was an eyesore and bore the burden of 15 lakh metric ton of waste accumulated over a decade. I'm just sharing one case study only. The solid waste management rule of 2016 has clearly directed all the urban local bodies to clear some microbes, extract metal of economic interest. Same thing is used for the mining waste. Okay, so this technique is used to clean up sites that has been polluted with metal. Also, now it is being used for the dumping of the mixed waste, both the dry and wet waste. So they have done this process after 3 years of mining. The total 100-acre site has been clear. Now, if you look at this site before, it looks like a huge dumping yard. You can see like a mountain look like. Now, the site has become very clear, 100% clear by a biomining process at Indore. Now, Indore is now again has been rated as awarded as the best clean city. And please look into their website or their model, how they operate. It will be quite interesting. How they plan in a ward wise, and from the ward how the collection process, the segregation process, and then how it is being treated and disposed. Both the local and the private parties are involved, and they do the process very perfectly. It's a very good model to take. No, as I said, most of the process of biodegradable waste or organic waste goes for composting in the presence of air, heat, and moisture. This can be carried on a small scale. In a household, it can be done or on a large scale, depending on the quantity of the waste to be processed and space available. So you need a microorganism like worms, fungi, bacteria, which will act upon the waste to convert into sugar, starch, or organic acid, which in turn act upon high temperature bacteria, resulting in a stable product as a compost, which can be used as soil conditioner or a fertilizer. Now, this compost now we are able to sell to the fertilizer unit. Now it has become mandatory, and the government of India has requested even this can be sold to the fertilizer unit, so it can be used for various gardening purpose or agriculture purpose. The composting process mainly 3 stages involved. Thermophilic stage, heat generation, where the first phase you put all the wet waste or food waste or agriculture waste or a leaf, whatever. Okay, and when it's in contact with microorganisms, worms, decompose easily, and the organic substances are produced as a heat as a result of intensive metabolic activity. So the moisture content should be around 50 to 60%, air void 20% to 30%, and the windrow is a one type of composting system where you have a series of garbage heap systems done by row, and maintaining a temperature rise from 35 degrees to 55, 65 degrees achieved within 2 to 3 days. This is called the thermophilic heat stage, generation stage. Then comes the mesophilic stage, is second stage, reduction in the available food for the worms. Then on nutrition, this microbial activity reduces and causes a decline in the temperature will down. And there's a shift in the microbial spaces. The compost material become dark in color, brown color, during the stage due to the hume synthesis and starts to stabilize. And curing stage, the compost is ready and the material is segregated, screened, and then it is taken for the purpose of fertilizers or you can market. The next process is called biomethylation, anaerobic conditions, absence of free oxygen. Fermentation of biodegradable material is an enclosed space under controlled condition, temperature, moisture, and pH. The waste mass undergoes decomposition due to microbial activity, thereby generating biogas, cobar gas in the village area or even the household. Consists of mainly methane and carbon dioxide, and also some sludges which can be removed and can be used for some construction purpose. So vermicomposting is very important, which can be done in a household or in your roof terrace. It's vermi means worms. Okay, the controlled decomposition of organic matter by anaerobic microorganisms and concentration of earthworms. So this is one process very commonly used in our country, and most of the household people also can do. Okay, so collection of the waste and earthworm, construction of them in a pit, where it is you can see the pit you have, and where you have layers of next layer, second layer also can have. You can transfer one pit to another pit also, depending upon the design. And you can see the vermicompost heap is being formed and meshed, screened and packed, which can be used for a greenhouse plant, nursery, gardening, or even agriculture purpose. You can also have a small pit if you have a space in a house. You can have a pit of a trench composting can be done and cover it and without oxygen, and you can undergo the help of microorganism. It will convert into fertilizer. This is also can be done, pit composting. Then you can also have tunnel composting and windrow composting. Now there is another one called mechanized organic waste composter. This is available in the market, where hotels or hostels or any offices can go where the generation is very high. Then you can go for a mechanized organic waste composter, depending on the capacity you can buy. So this easily convert the organic waste into fertilizer. So it will able to maintain the temperature, airflow, moisture, and the bacteria can be added. So that will convert the compost into waste within hours, within 2 to 5 hours. Now this is very compact, and most of the people are using it in the bottle industry and the hostel. Okay. So next important thing is called plastic waste management. As I said, it's plastics, when they use the word, is called non-biodegradable. Okay. Now we have biodegradable plastics also, like a polylactic acid, polybutylene adipene terephthalate. Both are very good plastics which are biodegradable, and now it is coming into the picture market also. So plastic waste is the biggest challenge now. Mostly they say landfilling. You can go for mechanical recycling, biological recycling, chemical recycling. So the mechanical recycling is commonly followed, where they segregate the plastics as per the grade. That is, you have like a polyvinyl, PVC pipes. You have a bottles which is made of polyethylene terephthalate PET bottle. You have a container made of HDP. So there are various types of material, plastic materials. Polyolefins are like a foam material, like a polystyrene, or you have a nylon. Which is, so we have different, but commercially we come across only polyolefins. The common waste stream, we come across only polyethylenes like a HDP, LDP, and the all these packaging materials. Like then we have a polyethylene terephthalate, that is a bottle. So only thing is we have to be very careful in segregating the plastics. What do you call the PVC or HDP, polyolefins, or PET. When you segregate the three materials, there are a lot of segregation techniques which I'm not going in detail. So automated sensors are used to segregate all the three types of plastic, and then it goes for the recycling, which we'll see later. Okay. So normally mechanical recycling is being done. So after collecting the all the waste stream, like a bottle or packaging material, it is sorted out manually or automatic sensor system, and then after collecting the individual plastic waste, it is baled, compacted, and then it goes for crushing in a mill and into small particles, and then it's washed thoroughly so that the material is completely washed and dried thoroughly, and then it goes for regeneration. So you're using a twin screw extruder, you take the waste plastic, then you can, if you want to enhance its properties, you can add some filler, or you want to mix with a virgin material, you can do that. You mix it with a twin screw extruder, then you get a pellet. Then again, you can go for the product manufacture. So this is the life cycle of management of the plastics. Okay. If not, so this is called primary recycling. In the secondary recycling, what happens is if this is not possible, then it goes for the thermal process like incineration, burning to get some energy, or it go for pyrolysis, you get some raw material. Or so this is the different types. Okay, so mainly mechanical ways of recycling is the best method, where you can reuse, recycle as much as possible. If not, then it goes for the tertiary or quaternary type of management, landfilling or incineration. So e-waste is the biggest challenge in our country. Most of the places, like mostly in all the cities, Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam, all these places are in Chennai also. The e-waste management is picking up. Whatever the used computer or a desk or a keyboard, which contains some electronics equipment or electrical equipment, which is mass by plastics, has to be dismantled, and then after dismantling, then you have to segregate the material, all the electronics items, PCB board, and from the PCB board we can remove all some of the lead or even sometimes gold. Also, we can recover. Now, this sector is an unorganized sector, and it is not done in a proper manner. So it needs a proper guidelines, and the government has introduced a proper guidelines of recycling techniques, where you can recover all the materials in a mobile phone or in a computer or in a CRT or in a keyboard, okay, or in a huge washing machine system or whatever. Now this sector is you get a lot of material which can be dismantled properly. Now for dismantling itself, nowadays the manufacturer are coming of a design for dismantle. Now that is very important. Something in olden days they screw it very tightly, and moving is became biggest problem. Now they go for a snap fitting is done so that it can be easily dismantled, and it can be taken out for recycling or reusing or whatever maybe. Now this sector is a biggest sector. Industry is growing in recycling. A lot of industries are coming in Chennai. Also, we have a lot of industry in the Madras export process zone. We have industry where they do all the recycling of all the electronic waste has been done, and all the developed countries are dumping the waste, e-waste in the developing and growing countries in Bangladesh or some other areas, or Thailand, or in our country also we take and we do the recycling. So the producer has to, we have a recycling chain for e-waste, has to collect all the e-waste. Like I said, the mobile phone, when you throw it, when you dispose it in a retail showroom or in an office, where it's collected properly and it is taken back to the electronic items, either individually or collected separately. Okay, and it is taken to the recycling, where they dismantle it properly. So the recyclers should inform the state pollution control board or whatever maybe environmental office that we do collect all the recycled material, all the discarded material, we store it, and we transport this waste into some other place for recycling or recyclers or dismantlers. Okay, and they do in a proper way. Because there may be some hazardous waste also may generate. There are a lot of slides I used to present on e-waste long back, but I'm not showing here because lack of time. So this is a very important sector where it gives a lot of job openings and should be done in a proper way. So we get 20% refrigerator, 30% appliance, 50% consumer electronic, 50% computer, 10% television. So these are all the waste generation of different electronic goods. Okay, so Tamil Nadu ranks around 13.1%, and Maharashtra 19.8% in the e-waste management. Okay, and this sector has a lot of job openings, and a lot of industry should come forward. Very few industries are there, and more industry should come, and they should do a proper systematic way of recycling, so that we can get back all the useful material, which is a wealth, which can be used properly. Another industry sector is medical waste. Hospital medical waste every hospital should have their own incinerating unit. That is a norms. They should have their own incinerating unit. Okay, so they collect all the waste as per the coloring code. Like you have the tissue water bottle can green, and you go for a syringes glove. Okay, so all these infected waste, like COVID, will be disposing the mask. Even in our houses, if we are going to discard the mask, it is better, please, the used mask, you put it in a water which contains soap solution, you wash it thoroughly, and then you please discard. That is my kind request. Don't discard as such an infected mask directly into the collection bin, and that goes into the municipal solid waste, and it gets further polluted and it spreads. So it is always better to take a small bucket of water and use some sanitizer and soap solution, put that mask into that or glove into that, and you wash it out. And then if you are not going to use it, discard it now. Don't put directly into the normal kitchen dustbin. It's a very, very important. I mean, you collect all the waste mask or gloves, and you please wash it, and then you discard it. And because it will spread again further. That's a request. So you have you can see the symbol. This is a symbol for the hospital waste, the green color and the red color and the yellow color. So there's all the infected waste due to the hospital. And the recycling symbol over here, it's a glass or a plastics, and you have the sharp knife cutting glasses. So according to the requirement, it goes for the incineration, and then it should go for a deburial, or if it is washable, it can go for recycling. Now this is an important thing. The waste generation is very high nowadays. It has to be taken care. Now, if we are not able to recycle, reuse, or upcycle, then it goes for the waste is converted into energy. Now, in our country, the plant required is a huge investment and not much plant is there for pyrolysis, or incineration. So very few plants are available. So according to the quantum of the waste generation, only we can able to run the plant daily. Otherwise, it's ideal. Now it's also picking up. Waste to energy or energy from waste is a process of generating energy in the form of electricity or a heat from the primary treatment of waste or processing waste into a fuel source. Now, this is now picking up in our country. Only the investment is very high. So only a private or a government bodies can be able to establish these facilities. So wherever the waste which is not able to recycle or reuse, then it can go for conversion into energy. The ongoing waste energy projects, if you look at the statistics obtained from the Waste to Health from the Swachh Bharat Ready Reckoner, you can also see all this information over there. There are 24 waste energy projects to produce 233 megawatts of different stages of construction, and 5 projects of 59 megawatts are already been tendered, and out of the 312 megawatts have been produced. So this is the development process taking place in our country, and you can even generate electricity, and they have fixed a tariff around rupees 8 rupees per kilowatt per hour of electricity sold by waste to energy plants compared to 2.5 for many thermal power plants. So there is a lot of potential is there, and more people should come forward to invest on this particular projects so that whatever the waste can be converted into energy. So this is a waste to energy, a biomethylation process, all the gas, whatever produces the agricultural waste or food waste can be converted into methane gas, biogas, and that can be converted into energy. This is a simple process, okay? Or you can go for incineration. It's a process where heating at a higher temperature, about 1000 to 1500 degree, all the recyclable waste to be separated and collected, and that has to be treated and processed in the presence of oxygen, where you can get a high calorific value that's been generated that can be used for any energy sources, okay? And you get some residue which can be taken for incineration as. Then similarly, you can go for a gasification. It's a partial combustion of organic or a fossil fuel, where you can convert into a gas, okay, syngas, okay. Then you have the tire-derived, refuse-derived fuel. This is all the multiple mixed waste can be burned, and at the proper conditions, you get a high calorific value, which can be used as a fuel. And if at not all those things not possible, then we have to go for a landfilling or a sanitary landfilling. A proper landfilling has to be, open landfilling should be avoided. Okay, otherwise the landfilling will leach out, and water may contaminated, groundwater may contaminated, or a river may contaminated, or the leach may come out, surface area may get contaminated, soil may get contaminated. So you should have a proper lining, layer by layer, and there should be a sensor to measure the temperature inside and moisture inside, and the pH condition has been measured, and there should be a provision for the exhaust of the gas, or there's a provision to release the leach out water. So a landfilling site should be properly designed with a proper manpower and engineers to control all this parameter, so that whatever the gas that is coming out can convert it into fuel also. But landfilling has to be totally removed in future. That is the idea became. There should not be any landfill at all. Even sometimes what happened on the top of the landfill, they used to grow some grasses and all. Okay, so but it has to be totally removed in future. That is a request. Okay, so these are the technologies you can select based on the population. When the population is around 15,000 to 50,000, where your waste generation is 3 to 10 tons per day, then you can go for a vermicomposting, conventional composting, biomethanation, and the cost involved maybe around for the project maybe 20 lakhs, and you can get some biogas or a compost, and the population is increasing 1 lakh. Then the waste is around 20 tons. Again, you can go for biomethylation, conventional composting, vermicomposting. And if the population is 10 lakhs or even more, the waste generation 350 tons per day, then you can go for integrated waste processing. So all the government and local bodies are given to set up the local segregation collection point and segregation system, and then you go for a biocomposting, which is now country is picking up like anything else. And if not possible, then you go for a fuel generation. Okay, so you can go for integrated waste management system depending upon the population is more. And nowadays, the smart waste management system is coming up using IoT. In all the smart cities, some of the countries, states have smart cities. Now the people are starting up with the smart waste management system. So all the bins have a sensor. Once the dustbin is filled, and immediately it will give a signal to the person who is looking after the waste management, smart waste management system. Then you will instruct the lorry or the container collector to go and collect all the waste from the bin and empty it, and see the bin is kept clean, and it is from that it is taken to the waste processing unit, and from there it's again. So it is an automated system, IoT, Internet of Things. It has come. So there is nobody to go and tell, okay, the bin is filled, please come and give an SMS to come and collect. Not necessary. It automatically takes care, and the bin system is properly available. It's a sensor which will sense it and give the information to the central processing system, where they will inform the truck people to go and collect it. So this is a system which is monitored, and the waste generation is also monitored. Type of the waste is also monitored, and we can be able to segregate properly and do the recycling properly. So this is you have a cloud service system where you have interaction with the citizen, with the yardman, with the smart bin system, with the truck system for collecting waste, owners of the trucks, and the city administration, dumping yard, recycling factory, and the road, and the navigation system. Totally, we can able to follow the system, and we can able to do a smart way of segregation. So the best practice is minimize the waste at the source, reuse as much as possible, and if not, do the recycling, and if not, do the composting, and if not, converting energy, and finally minimize the waste to dispose. So the main idea behind is a zero waste city we want. So it is an individual. As I said, been to various countries, you can see, imagine the cities are kept clean and neat. You can't even find a single paper or a dust or even any waste generation system. It is being properly. It is an individual. As an individual, it should take the waste and put it in a proper system, disposing system. You can't throw away as you like. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And that is the challenge being done in all the countries, and it has been taught at the school level how to dispose the waste. And if you throw the waste as you like, you will be punished. You have to pay a fine. So that is the stringent law has been imposed in all the developed countries. Slowly it should come in our country, and the awareness should start from the school level. When you take a paper and the paper is not used, you cannot throw it away as you like. Should be thrown or should be kept in a bucket, come home, and should be disposed in the right dustbin. So it is taken for recycling. So there are a lot of examples we can say. So it is an individual behavior should have the social consequence and should be able to throw the dispose the waste properly. Okay. Then the extended producers and consumer responsibility. So consumer who the manufacturer should have the social responsibility for the manufacturing responsibility to collect the waste whichever is possible and do the recycling of waste as much as possible, and 100% recovery or resource recovery from waste, and there should be a zero landfill. So this is the plan what we have to follow. And for this, every individual should have their own responsibility to dispose the waste properly or minimize the waste properly. So if you look at the best clean city indoor ranks 1, followed by Surat, etc. And you can see the various dustbins have been kept in various places. So if we do the collection properly, we can able to segregate and do the recycling properly. So in every household, you have can have the waste composting system, or a bin is available. Whatever the kitchen waste or whatever food waste, you can dump it over here, and it does the composting. And the compost can be used to grow your own terrace garden, and grow your own plants, vegetables, etc. And you can be self-sustainable and more organic nature. So it is our human social responsibility, like you have the corporate social responsibility or the manufacturer's social responsibility, but we as a human being should have a social responsibility to discard the waste properly, so that the environment will be maintained green. So reduce, reuse, recycle for a happy earth. So with these few words, I wind up my lecture. I just given an overview. There are few people, few experts and lecturers who is going to discuss on e-waste, plastic waste, ceramic waste, water waste, water pollution, etc. So they'll be discussing in detail. So thank you, one and all. So my references mainly on a Ministry of Environmental Forest and Environmental Protection Act, Waste to Wealth. Please go through this act. Talks about more on the Swachh Bharat, especially municipal solid waste. So if you have any question, please. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, sir. It was very nice to hear all these things. Such a wonderful lecture. And we have some questions, sir. Just I want to present the question in front of you. Some of the questions it was asked in the question answer column. First, let me ask some questions. Since we are running short of time, I want to ask some selective questions actually.
Please,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Will the education on kitchen garden and composting organic waste at a household level mitigate the organic waste disposal? If so, then how as an institution we can educate the people to go for it?
Yes, sir. Whatever the waste, if you start from an education institution or household, whatever, we collect the waste right from the kitchen, all the food waste or the vegetable waste, and we have the leaves. That is one of the major things. Sometimes during season we collect a lot of it. So these waste can be collected depending on the quantity. We can have a small two bin system, and we can do the composting. I would request to go for composting. Is the easiest and cheapest method, where we can do the composting in a closed circle, so that we can convert into a manure. So we follow in education system in our hostel, we do generate the biogas. That is one thing. And in one of the campus, they have the mechanized biocomposter. They convert into a compost. So composting is the best method. And moreover, education system, as India is a biodiversity, it's like we have a beautiful landscape, environment, both climatic condition, everything. We have to grow trees and make the environment green, so that we need to have a good ecosystem. For that, the waste minimization should be done. The education at the school level itself should start. Awareness program has to be start, so that the people have a good awareness how to convert this waste into useful product. I hope the question is answered.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Next one. Provision of a source to house the waste at public places is posing a serious threat in managing waste. How to mitigate this issue? The responsibility lies on the administration to make the citizens of this country as good Indians. Please offer your views on this, sir.
Yes, sir. If you see, if any of the, I live near Krumpet area. If I see something, a dumping place is there, and the dump is overflowing, and due to rain sometimes or wind, the dump waste material will come out and it is spread over the area and looks very, very bad. Okay, and it gives smell. So today, all the municipalities, they have a system of commissioners, and they have the what you call sanitary inspectors, and there is a portfolios are available. So they are given all the mobile number, WhatsApp number is given, and immediately if you find anything waste, I am sharing my experience. I immediately given a message to that particular number, and immediately a message has gone through central system, and from there it has been initiated to the local body, and they immediately taken action. So only we public should give more awareness, and we should follow that, and we should intimate them. If we are not bothered, it's not my job. If they're gone, then it's a polluted job. We get polluted. We are also one among the pollution. So we have to intimate them immediately. So maybe the smart system has to be implemented everywhere. So automatically we need to tell them. Automatically it senses when bin is overflowing, it senses, then it can intimate it to the local body or the private party, whoever is in charge of collection has to come and collect it. So this has to be followed by individual only, sir.
Thank you, sir. Another question from a gentleman who is called Dr. Praveen Bandari. He is asking, like, I wish to ask, can you share some information about rapid technique for composting or treatment of household waste? Can we reduce degradation time by optimization or addition of some additives? Traditional techniques require more time. That is why not used by many.
Yeah. Today, if you look into the Amazon, you have a compost bin for 3,000 rupees cheaply available. Okay, it's easily available. So any household can have you need a space like what you place a washing machine. Similarly, you need to have a small place for placing the bin. Okay, like you can see this is a bin. I'm not mentioning any particular product. I just taken one particular product only. Okay, so like this bins are available. You can use it in your home, and you can do some technology like where you can accelerate the composting process. Maybe that can be done. Only thing is you have to maintain the type of waste and the type of worms and the type of temperature, moisture, and pH you have to maintain. And mechanized compost pit also has come. So these two, where you can do some research, and maybe you can do that. It's possible, sir. It's possible. Yes, sir. It's possible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, the final question, sir. How biomining is done? Is biomining practiced only in indoor?
No, it has been now done everywhere. Now, initially, what happened? They collect the waste and they dump it, and they will leave it, and slowly they will use the JCP to compact it, and slowly they will cover it. But now the use of landfilling has to be minimized. And that is the concept. People, no landfilling, zero waste. That's what means. So now the concept of biomining is picking up everywhere. One example is indoor. And another example at a Vellore compost yard in Coimbatore, they're going for biomining. So they use a fungi or bacterial again in a closed environment, and slowly it will take some time. But slowly they're going to huge pile of mountain of waste will be converted into a gas or whatever. This is going to be done.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, actually, since I appeal to the audience, sorry for not asking your questions. Actually, since we are running short of time, actually, I have selected some of the questions from the question answer column.
Thank you.
And I request all the audience that if you have any questions directly, you can mail to sir, and sir is ready to answer your questions. This is our appeal from our side. Sir, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation, sir. As a concluding remark, I want to thank you from our end that you have given us such a wonderful lecture, and even we are taking class. We are in our university. We are running MTech in energy engineering, and we are teaching our students this kind of things. I think we got a complete syllabus, and I think we have the complete book material from your material. It was such a wonderful session, sir, and we could be able to know about the salient features of solid waste management in India, waste generation in India, urban sewage, boundaries for integrated waste management system, useful options, then processing of municipal solid waste, biomining, composting, plastic management, e-waste management. So everything we could be able to see, sir. So thank you for again from wholeheartedly we convey our thanks for this wonderful session, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.